ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule has admitted meeting Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane last week. Magashule has been under pressure regarding the failed Vrede Dairy Project that was linked to the Guptas. At the same time, he's had to answer allegations by former Free State Economic Development MEC Mkhwebane, who claims Magashule took him to meet the Guptas in 2011. Well, for the latest on that, I'm now joined by reporter Aaron Bates. Good evening, Aaron. Thanks very much for coming through at such short notice. So, what is Ace Magashule saying?
Well, he hasn't told us all that much, really, but he has confirmed something I had from a source on a meeting on the 18th of October between him and the Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane. And what's interesting now about this confirmation, Vuyo, is that we had in court this week 2 applications, one from the Democratic Alliance, one from the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution, to review and set aside her initial Vrede Dairy Project report, which the DA has branded a whitewash. And so now we have information on the subsequent investigation she committed to do to really get to the bottom of the political role players in the Vrede Dairy Project, something which isn't covered at all in the initial Vrede report.
So, who called the meeting?
Well, what we seem to understand from what Magashule has said today is that he was called for questioning by the Public Protector. And what's interesting, and unfortunately we haven't been able to get this for airing this evening, but Mkhwebane spoke to our colleague Jeremy Maggs on Jane Dutton's show the very same day. She called Magashule, it seems, to the Public Protector's office for questioning about the Vrede Dairy Project. And our colleague Samkele Maseko actually got this confirmation from Magashule earlier today, and this is exactly what Sam asked him.
You remember when the report was presented, obviously when there are issues which the Public Protector wants to pose some questions to you, he will call you, or she or he will call you. Just like what Tulima Donsala did. When there was this question about the Vrede, we were called. The Public Protector did the same, and I went to respond to whatever questions she had for us.
When you look at what's currently happening around the Vrede Dairy Farm, suspicious killings are going around. Some people are maliciously, as I may say, allegedly and maliciously saying that you are involved in these killings, or spuriously saying...
Let me not respond to things which I don't know.
But can you say anything about that meeting you had with the Public Protector, Mkhwebane?
It was about the questions she was posing to me about the Vrede Dairy.
Not shedding a great deal of light.
No, but what's important, Vuyo, is to put this into context with the court cases this week in the Palace of Justice, which we at ENCA have covered. Importantly, Advocate Mkhwebane, on behalf of the Public Protector, along with Advocate Platt, both senior counsel, rebutted the arguments of the DA and the CASAC, respectively. And the judge there asking why the Public Protector had 2 senior counsel arguing when the facts on these 2 cases are pretty much the same. But what's important is to remember that the report she filed and issued publicly in February of this year really didn't tackle the question of the Guptas, for example, didn't tackle the role of the Premier at the time, now Secretary General of the ANC, and didn't incorporate the Gupta leaks, which, among other things, implicate Magashule's son in going on holidays, which are allegedly bankrolled by the Guptas. So what this does indicate is that she is, to some degree now, proactively meeting with the politicians she was criticized for not meeting when she tabled this initial report. And criticisms of that initial report don't just come from the likes of the DA, which her counsel have argued are trying to score political points. And Mkhwebane quite aptly said if the DA wants to win political battles in the Free State, they should go and fight those out in the legislature. But the criticisms in Parliament were also that she hadn't been proactive enough in her investigation of Vrede. She hadn't subpoenaed witnesses. She hadn't gathered the kind of evidence that she maybe should have. And so what we're seeing now is a slight shift potentially here, with the very fact that she's finally met with Magashule to ask him about his role. What she asked him, how vigorous and rigorous her questioning was, we have no indication on that.
And we haven't been able so far to get her or her office to tell us why what appears to be an about 10 is indeed happening.
No, but what we do know already is what she herself has conceded in Parliament. In fact, I wrote this down. I thought we might get to that for you. In April of this year, she told the chairperson of the Justice Committee, "I agree, chairperson, that in this matter, the file will be opened and the matter will still be investigated on purely the issues of the roles of politicians in this particular matter." So a roundabout way of saying, I will see to the question of politicians because I have not done so. And in fact, the whole kernel of kind of getting to the bottom of this was when I spoke to her spokesperson at court earlier this week and asked what's happened of the subsequent report she promised to Parliament. Him saying then she'd met with a politician. Now, through Samkele's journalism, we know that politician was Ace Magashule, and she has in fact met him. And from Magashule, we know she's questioned him about Vrede.
Of course. We haven't had the last
Not at
word.
all.
That's all. Aaron Bates, thanks very much for coming through. Our reporter, of course, she keeps a finger on all these matters for us, and tonight it was about that Vrede Dairy Project. And thanks, of course, in his absence, to our own Samkele Maseko.